What?
All right, so we're not going to say a whole lot about it, but we got something special planned. We want fans to be ready to return to Trumbull Valley in 2019. Go check out State of Decay.
All right. Well, there it is.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much. All right, well, now.
It just came to me one night. I was like, we have this map in the original game that I think would be fun to experiment with on some ideas that I had for where we could start taking the franchise forward. So even though it's the exact same layout, we had to really take that into consideration of, if we want to do this thing, there are implications here for how you play, how you traverse the map, what performance might mean. It was a little bit of experimentation to see, like, does it feel fun to even go through this stuff, and is it play well?
We chose to make Heartland story-based because it was a request that a lot of our fans had made, and it was something that as developers we really wanted to do. We wanted to return to Trumbull.
Story in games is actually a really fascinating challenge because the best part of games is that the player gets to make decisions about what they're going to do on a moment-to-moment basis. That's why I try to find ways to have story emerge, to bubble up from systems and the choices that the player makes, rather than trying to impose it from the top down.
On Heartland, we want to create more of a linear storyline with a couple of branches and dynamic elements on the outside. So we had to create some technology to make sure that we could do that. Basically supporting the mission designers, making sure that they could create the story that they wanted to tell.
I make missions, all sorts of missions. Big missions, small missions, complicated missions, simple missions. Mostly complicated missions. So I did the personal arcs, is what we call them, of the main characters. So Larisse and Quincy and Helena. That whole line from them getting to Trumbull Valley and all the way through, like, the end of what they were there for.
The characters came out of a kind of a Hollywood writer's room process that we're just kind of introducing for the first time. We get to tell the story of what happened in between State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2 at that place. And so players get to go back to an area that's familiar, but it's also going to be very different.
It's perfect having it set in Trumbull, since one of the big things we're looking to do is explore the mysteries of the blood plague, and to have the before and after of a place that players know, like Trumbull Valley, is great for that. It tells a lot of story. If you see a landmark that's covered in blood plague goop, it's a lot more telling if you've seen it before. So a lot of these places, like the Fork in the Road Diner, it's a memorable place for us.
I was primarily tasked with working on the end game content of Heartland. A couple of the missions that lead up to what we're calling the Gauntlet, which is the final stages of returning to Trumbull, and hinting at things that may be answers.
From a production standpoint, it was just a complete step up in terms of the amount of people that worked on it and for the amount of time. We really put a lot of the studio on this project for quite some time because we knew we wanted to make something big.
I think Heartland is special because we got to tell a story in a new way for State of Decay 2. And telling, like, the whole story of an area from, like, beginning to end is something that we didn't get to do yet.
Quite a few things make Heartland special. Everyone you meet is a unique crafted character. All of them have special skills and traits that come in and play a role in your community and make your home base stronger. Biggest, baddest home base we've ever had, with a lot of actions and facilities. The last thing is the influence of the blood plague on Trumbull Valley. Now all the freaks are blood plague freaks.
I love the fact that Heartland blends the old with the new. It was very nostalgic for me to drive around places that I haven't really poked around in a couple years. I was a huge fan of the original game, so I have a soft spot in my heart for those roads and those buildings and that crashed plane.
When you feel that it's starting to overwhelm you, when you feel that fear creeping in, it might be good to listen to your gut.
Another bug that I was working on that was kind of funny, there's a mission where you gotta rescue someone who's sick. And if you fail at any point in the mission, they die because it's a life-threatening situation and all that. You could get into situations where you'd bring them back to base, talk to someone at your base, and then switch over to that person's mission, but you hadn't finished the previous mission, so your buddy's head would explode right in front of your face. It was pretty sweet.